In this video, I'm going to cover the best high-ticket sales framework for coaches and consultants. Now, if you don't know me, I'm Aleric. I am the founder and CEO of Ad Outreach, and we've actually scaled my consulting company to over 8 figures, landing number 87 on the Inc. 5000 list of the fastest growing companies in America, doing over $10 million a year in sales. All of that high ticket sales. So we've learned a thing or two about how to sell high ticket. What I'm going to be presenting today is the best framework for high ticket sales for your coaching or consulting business. Now, you're not going to want to miss a second of this video because what we're going to be showing you is step by step this entire process and framework. By the way, if you're interested, I can actually put together another video on my one sentence, my magic sentence that helps you eliminate all objections, uncover and eliminate all objections on your sales calls in just one sentence. And if you want to see that video, let me know down in the comments below. Without further ado, let's dive in and walk you through the best high ticket sales framework. So the framework has 5 different components. The first step is rapport. So you want to build rapport at the beginning of your call. The second step, which is the biggest and most important, is discovery. You're actually diving in and learning more about the prospect, the person who's speaking with you on the phone. You're asking questions to really understand who they are. Then from there, what you're doing is you're presenting your offer and you're really bridging into what your offer has and how that can solve the problems that they have. Then you want to handle objections and then present the final offer and price and close. Notice how there's a big difference between maybe what you've been taught before. A lot of people are doing the standard, sales call where they get on, they're trying to sell something instead of understanding, kind of flipping it on its head and saying, okay, what does this person need and how can I address that need in what I offer and present? But the other big thing, even if you're already doing discovery in your call, so you can really take away from this video, is notice how we flipped the close and objection handling. Most people, they would do rapport, maybe a little bit discovery. Again, a lot of people don't do as much discovery as they need to, if any at all. Then they'll present their offer, and then they'll go in for the close, and then if somebody doesn't enroll, then they'll try and handle objections. But what's the problem with that? You're putting yourself on the back foot. You're not proactively handling those objections before you go in for the close. Now, there's 2 places where you really want to handle the objections, and actually multiple places. Before they even get on the call, you want to handle your objections in the marketing. We actually talk about that. We talk about crafting your winning YouTube ad, crafting conversion videos. We have videos that talk about this on this channel. You can check those out. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications. But you want to, of course, handle objections in your marketing. Also handle objections in your discovery. So really understanding, okay, so I'm understanding more about their business. We're gonna walk through each step of these. Handle those when you present your offer. Now, if there's any lingering objections, you wanna do a temperature check. And at that point, what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna see, okay, where are they at? And then handle any final objections that they have before you present the close, the final price point, the investment, and then actually enroll them into your offer. And so what I wanna do is walk you through this process, but it's really important to get that order correct. It starts with rapport, then discovery, then presenting the pillars of your offer, but not the investment. Then what you want to do is you want to handle objections, and finally, the 5th component is actually the enrollment, the close at the end of the call. And so those are the 5 steps to this framework for your high ticket coaching or consulting call. So let's go through one by one and break down each of these components. Some of these we're going to dive a little bit deeper into than others. Rapport, we're not going to dive super deep into this. This should be very simple, very quick at the beginning, but it is important to develop rapport. Now, I am a huge advocate for having calls on Zoom. All of the stats, not just our own internal stats, but you can look at the stats that are out there. There's plenty of studies that show that when you can actually get on a video sales call, it massively increases your conversion rate. Why? Because you're building up trust. You're actually getting on the phone with somebody on video, you're seeing them, and you can develop that know, like, and trust very quickly with that video. You can build rapport much, much faster. What I love to do, a few simple rapport tactics. On the rapport side, there's a few different ones that you can do. You start off, ask them where they're at, comment on the weather or something you know about the area, or if you've been to that area, talk about their background. That's one of my favorite ones because sometimes the weather gets really cliche, right? It's kind of that same rapport. It's like, oh, the weather out there is, X, Y, Z. But if you know something about where they're at, that's a good one, or you've been there before, you like something, if you've been to a local restaurant, those are always really good ones if you know the region that they're at. I have this be more genuine. I know people that they'll go in and they'll actually research locations beforehand. I like to make it based on personal experience. Again, that's up to you. That being said, one of my favorites is commenting something in their background. Now, unless their background's totally a white wall, which sometimes does happen, usually they'll have some kind of picture in the background, or they'll have some books in the background, or they'll have a background like I have here, which is the Austin city skyline, right here in downtown Austin, Texas. And people will comment on my background, I'll comment on their background first. And that's just, it's unique. And it's also something that's important to them. Somebody asks me, oh, where are you at? What's behind you? Then I can talk about being in Austin. I can talk about my incredible office, why I love having, big floor-to-ceiling windows, all of that. And then I can usually ask somebody about their background as well. That's a really good way to build rapport. Again, you can do the standard weather or location. There's a few different ways. So you build rapport at the beginning. This should really only be 1 to 2 minutes. But here's the other thing too. Again, remember, you're not looking to make a friend. That you want to quickly build rapport and then dive into the rest of the call, because you need to be like a doctor, right? You need to be on this call. You are prescribing somebody a solution to the problem that they have. There's a reason they're on this call, and you want to get into business quickly. I've seen people spend way too long on rapport, and that actually harms their close rate. So you got to keep the rapport to 2 minutes tops. Really, it should just be 1 minute to 2 minutes, and then dive in. So then what you want to do is you want to set the stage. You actually want to control the frame of the call, because otherwise they're going to think they can go all over the place. So what you want to say is, all right, Josh, so on this call, and I've already taken a look at some of my notes that I have here. Let me just explain a little bit about how this call is going to go. So I've taken a look at my notes, and what I want to do is really get a better picture and understand exactly what's going on in XYZ, your life, your business, your weight, whatever it happens to be that you're helping people solve. Then from there, what I'll do is I'll walk you through what our process is to achieve XYZ result and answer any questions that you have. And at the end, if it's a good fit, we can go from there. How does that sound? And I do it just like that. My team does it just like that. So it's very simple, but it's also framing what that call is and making it very clear that this is a guided call. This is not going to go all over the place. You need to control the frame of the call and what's going to go down. Otherwise, somebody's going to start asking you and they'll say, well, what do you have? Now, if they try to do that, if they try to say, well, just tell me what your offer is, you say, hey, I'm happy to dive into that. And we're going to get into that in just a second. But we actually have multiple different ways that we can help you. And I also want to make sure it's a good fit. And so what we love to do is really understand exactly, what this problem is, exactly what you're seeing first. And then I can walk you through what it would look like, because it's going to depend on what you need. And that's a great way to then loop them back and go through this process. So now that you've done that bridge between the rapport and discovery, the discovery section is where you're asking them questions. Now, I can't tell you what questions to ask, but I'll give you an example. So in our business, we're helping people with marketing, video marketing, to scale their businesses 6, 7, 8+ figures and beyond. On the lower end, usually we're helping with organic video, conversion videos. On that higher end, we're helping with YouTube ads or omnipresent retargeting. So what I want to do is I actually want to ask specific questions. All right, so tell me a little bit more about your business. I'd love to hear a little bit more about, exactly what you're doing. And you can also reference that you've read the notes as well. So I see that you're helping XYZ. You tell me a little bit more about that. Dive in. Notice I'm not asking rapport questions. This is where people can get this wrong, is they start saying, well, how did you start your business? Why are you doing your business? Now, these are all good things, but those are questions you ask at a cocktail party or a networking party. What you want to do is you want to ask the questions that are actually going to get to the crux of the problem. What is the challenge that somebody has, right? Why are they on this call? What are they looking for? They're either on this call because they have a challenge or they identify what you have as an opportunity. One of those two things. And if they don't know why they're on this call, then that in of itself is usually a challenge in of itself, right? Because they don't know what they're doing. So challenge or opportunity. And so what you want to do is really frame the questions around the challenge or opportunity that they're seeking. And ask them, what made you book this call? That's a great question as well. Now, we'll usually dive more into the business because we're doing more of a B2B, business to business style call. But if you're working individually on a personal basis, let's say you have mindset coaching, personal development, nutrition, weight loss, fitness coaching. A great question is, what made you book this call? What made you interested in losing weight? What made you interested in getting in shape? What made you interested in XYZ? How long have you been interested in personal development? What have you done already, right? from that point, you're now understanding and you're diving in. Then the answers to those questions, they start to go out and you're almost weaving this, really following wherever this choose your own adventure book takes you. That's why I can't really tell you all the different questions to ask, because what you want to do is you really want to get a sense. Now, here's the best part. This is intuitive. You want to ask the questions that you actually want to know to see if this is a good fit for them. Now, the best way to do this is to really commit yourself, and I encourage you to commit yourself right now. This is a commitment I made a long time ago. We have our team make this commitment that you are committed to only enroll people into your high ticket offer or program if they genuinely are a good fit for that offer. So I encourage you to make that commitment to yourself. If somebody's waving, XYZ thousands of dollars in front of us, but they're not a good fit, we're gonna say, sorry, it's not a good fit. And actually what we do when people apply to work with us, we legitimately cancel over 60% of applications that don't even get on a call with one of our advisors, and that's because also our advisors, they're busy, they're taking calls all the time, right? People who are interested, but we cancel over 60% because we only want to work with people that are actually a good fit. So that's the first thing. So if you're actually taking that frame, which I encourage all of you to do, if you're looking to have an impact, if you're a coach or consultant, the best way to do it, the best long-term, what you're looking to do, what's best for other people, is really only work with people that you know that you can help. And what's the best way to figure out if you can genuinely help them? Well, the best way is to ask them questions, right? You need to understand, right? A salesperson's being disingenuous when they don't ask any questions. They say, hey, you should go do this, right? If you walk into a car dealership and somebody's like, you should buy this exact car right here. Wait, why? Why that car? I haven't even said what kind of car I like, right? What you want to do is you want to actually understand where are they at? And also, this is just genuinely being someone that actually wants to help other people. You want to understand, what are the challenges that you face? Let's dive in. And you want to be that doctor that asks questions. What's going on? What are you seeing? How long has that been going on? What is that causing? Let me understand a little bit more about that. You also want to dig into pain, right? What does this mean if you don't get this solved, right? Because that gives you the tie down. Because again, as long as you truly, genuinely want to help people, which I know if you're watching this video, that's what you want to do. You want to help people. You want to help them, whether it be in their personal life, in their business, whatever it happens to be that you coach or consult with, you want to help people. Knowing that you want to help people, what you need to do is you need to understand why they want to change, but you also want to really extract that pain and understand to say, oh, they have this pain. And so that's what you want to understand. You want to dive into that discovery. So once you dive into discovery, you're really understanding what somebody needs. Then from there, you can craft and frame your offer around what their problems are. Now, as long as their problems line up with what your offer solves, then you can actually present your offer. Now, I'm not saying to build custom offers. What I'm saying is usually if you have an offer, there's different elements of it. What you can do is just highlight the parts that are most relevant to them and what they need. Now, if you want to learn how to craft an irresistible offer, I have another video on this channel that covers exactly how to craft an irresistible offer. I will link that in an annotation and down below. You can go ahead and watch that video. And so what you want to do is you want to outline the offer to them. And that's where you're going to walk them through. You say, hey, now that I have a better picture of exactly what you're looking for, do you want me to share a little bit about, what we do at Ad Outreach and walk you through our process? They'll say yes. And then that's the transition that you go into and say, well, we have a 4-step process. And that's when you're going to dive into the process. Now, if you want to learn how to actually create and go through high converting offers, I highly recommend watching that other video. That's a video in of itself, so I'm actually not gonna dive super deep into what the offer is because I cover exactly how to craft irresistible offers. But the main point is your offer wants to solve a major problem. It's not something that is just the individual bells and whistles. So your offer solves a major problem. It has a unique mechanism, a secret sauce that's unique to you. It has a simple, easy to understand 3, 4, or 5-step framework that you can walk people through, the pillars or framework of your offer. And then what it also has is it has a price point that lines up with the transformation that you're providing. And so you have all of that, and what you're doing is you're presenting the elements of the offer besides the investment. You're saving the investment for later or any details on exactly how it works. What you're doing is you're just walking through what the pillars of your offer is, what the big result, and also covering your unique mechanism, and then the pillars of your offer. That's what you're covering in that offer section. Then from there, what you want to do is you want to actually handle any objections. So you're going to ask them and see if they have any questions. So, that's our process. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions on how the process works? Then you can dive in. Now, there's also one sentence that you can use. And this one sentence that you can use can help you uncover any objection that someone has and then handle those objections, even hidden objections that they're not otherwise telling you. Now, it is one sentence, but it needs its own video to explain because you have to know how to use this sentence properly. Now, here's the thing, I do really want to publish this video, but what I want you to do is give this video a like if you want me to publish that, and if this video gets enough likes, I will publish this video next week. So if you're finding this valuable already, you want to see that next video, give this video a like, and then once that comes out, I will link it in an annotation or down below. Depending on when you're watching this video, the video may be out already. So I'll walk you through that one sentence, that one magic sentence that can uncover those objections in that other video. But the big thing to know here is you want to uncover objections, you want to ask them if they have any other questions, you want to use that one sentence, you want to dive in and really understand and handle objections before you get to the close. You want to make sure they're 100%. They know that this is exactly what they need, they're at 100%, and then you get into the close. So now, once you've made it clear, this is exactly what they're looking for, this is exactly what's going to help them, now you can actually get into the full enrollment. So you can say, okay, great, now that you're 100%, now you're 10 out of 10, I'm happy to walk you through what this looks like if you want. And then you wait for them to say yes. Yes. All right, great. That's our Video Ads Launchpad. It's a 12-week program that goes over Pillar 1, Pillar 2, Pillar 3, Pillar 4, all designed to scale your business to 7 to 8 figures. And what I'd actually do is I'd call back to what their real goal is. Let's say they want to get to $150,000 a month. You'd say, all right, great, all designed to scale your business to $150,000 a month. And it's all just XYZ, however much it costs. Let's say $15,000, $10,000, $5,000, whatever your offer is. You say it's all just that. And then you wait. And you wait for them to say something. You do not speak. You just wait. And then they're going to say, okay, and get started. Or they're gonna say, I got just another question. And then you can dive in and handle that. Now, if you did your objection handling correct, they shouldn't have more questions. It might be more on the finance side, especially if you use that one sentence or you really understand and uncover what their other objections are, which typically are trust objections. They either don't trust themselves, they don't trust you, or they don't know if this will work for them. They don't trust the bridge between you and them. They might trust you, they might trust themselves, but they might not trust that this will actually work for them. There's two other objections. There's the spouse and business partner objection. Now, if there's a business partner objection or a spouse objection, then what you want to do is you want to have that other person on the phone before you even get on the close. Honestly, you should figure that out on the discovery side. The final objection is financial. And if you do this whole process right, the only objection you should have at the very end of the call is actually a financial objection. But if it's a financial objection, then what you can do is you can actually dive in and you can get on their side of the table. At that point, let's say they're 100%, they're a 10 out of 10 on the whole process. And we want to learn how to get them to a 10 out of 10 in that objection handling section. Again, watch that other video on the one magic sentence. And so what we want to do now that they're a 10 out of 10, let's just say they say, well, it's a little bit more than I thought it would be. Okay. And I know, I really want to make sure that we can scale you to that 150,000, and that's what our process is. So I know you're 100% on this process. It sounds like it's just the money. Money aside, you're still 100%, right? Yes. All right, great. So let's dive in. Let's figure out how we can make this work. What do you have access to right now? So now what you're doing is you're getting on their side of the table. And you're figuring out and you're asking questions, how do we make this work? You're not saying, well, this is that. You're actually getting on their side of the table. At car dealerships, they do this a lot, right? Let's say somebody knows that this is the car that they want. They're 100%, they're a 10 out of 10. Yes, this is the car. Great. And you get there and they look at the price and they look at this. The price is a little high. All right, great. So we know this is the car that you want. The dealers will actually get to the other side of the table with them and they'll say, how can we make this work? How can we make the finance work? What do you have available? Let's do this together. You're literally going from opposite them to their side of the table and you're working with them to figure out how to financially make this work and then enroll them. How can we make this work? You figure out what they have access to. Oftentimes they have access to more than you think. especially based on how transformative this can be in their life or in their business. And then you figure out how to make that work. But that's just figuring out details, logistics. That's what you can say too. So we know this is a good fit. We just have to figure out the logistics. Let's figure out the logistics. How can we make this work? And you're putting the ball back into their court, and then it's up to you to decide based on what they say. Oftentimes, I've heard people say, well, what if we do half right now? It's like, okay, yeah, we can do that. We can do half now and half in a month. How does that work for you? Is that gonna make it a little bit easier? Yeah, all right, great, let's do it. And you'd be surprised, the same person might not even know that that's an option to do half now and half in a month or a little bit later. That's what you wanna do, is you really wanna understand, uncover the objections before you get to the close. Then it's only a financial objection, which truly you can get to their side of the table, because now you both want the same thing. You know they 100% want what you have, and so it's just the two of you now working together to make the finances work to achieve that outcome which you both want, which is for them to enroll at the end of the call. And so that is the best framework for a high-ticket sales call for coaches and consultants. Now, the way that these high-ticket sales calls can ramp up and scale your business is by having more sales calls. And that's exactly what we help you with here at Ad Outreach. So if you want to learn how to completely fill your calendar with high-quality, high-ticket sales calls, then I recommend watching my video right down below, one of my 2 videos. If you want to learn how to do this without ad spend, you can watch my conversion videos framework. How to create a YouTube channel and YouTube videos just like this one to attract high-paying clients and fill up your calendar without even spending a dime on ads. Now, if you're looking to scale your business to 7 or 8 figures, you're really looking to scale up even more, then YouTube ads are the best way to do it. I've been doing YouTube ads for over 8 years. It's been the secret to my success. We've helped our clients generate over $200 million in revenue using our YouTube ad strategies. And if you want to learn how that works, I'll also post a link to my full YouTube ads webinar down below this video as well. And of course, strategy calls for both of those if you're ready to say, hey, I want to talk with somebody, see if this is a good fit. Again, we're only going to work with you if it truly is a good fit. And you'll even get an example of our process and how that works. Now, if you're on a sales team and you're watching this video, I highly recommend sending this video or one of these resources to either your manager or your CEO or the entrepreneur running your business so that they know that they can actually fill up your calendar with YouTube ads or with conversion organic videos. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, turn on the notification icon. We are constantly posting free valuable content just like this one. And let me know if you want to see that one magic word video. Let me know down there in the comments below and give this video enough likes and I'll post that video sometime next week. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.